it's really hard for me to take any of this seriously. I'm sorry. I'm still learning to cope. But there's some good things about this banner, and there's some not good things, as usual. So we're going to talk about them all. You'll never guess where they put the banners this time. It's crazy. You go over to notices, and then it'll load at some point. Go over to event, and wow, would you look at that? It's Dehya's banner. And Cyno's banner, and a weapon banner that I will reveal to you in just a moment. But holy cow, guys, I'm really conflicted about this, honestly. So we have Barbara, Kale, Bennett as the 4-star characters, and then we have Dehya as the the primary character that the people are going to be wishing for. And then you also have Cyno as well as the other primary character that people are going to be wishing for. So here's the thing, just right off the bat, I already have some kind of like negative opinions about this. Having Barbara and Kale on this banner kind of feels like a big middle finger to me. What are they? Do they hate this character? Do they hate Dehya? Some people might be celebrating Kale Barbara constellations. And you know what? If you are, that fantastic. I'm happy for you. You know what? Enjoy the game, enjoy your characters, whatever. To me, a person who likes when characters do damage, Dehya, Barbara, and Kale doesn't seem like a particularly good combination of characters to throw together into a team. I don't know if maybe this was them coping with like, look guys, you can do a Burgeon team with C6 Bennett that you'll get, and then Barbara Kale, but I don't know. So Barbara's kind of like just your free to play Hydro unit, and Kale's your free to play Dendro unit if you're not using Dendro MC. Like if you run like a really Copium Bloom team, like Barbara can be good in it. Barbara is fine. Like if you need a healer, she does her job. You know, it's whatever. She's Barbara. Worst case scenario, she's like Thrilling Tales holder, and that's, you know, decent at least. And then you have Kale. And Kale is kind of energy hungry, Dendro character with special ICD, so she doesn't apply as much Dendro as people think she does, and as she would like to apply, I'm sure. Her damage is all right, but like she's very much like a starter free character that they wanted to give us. So these two units, in my opinion, are just not that great. And them throwing Bennett on here, I feel like is just a way for them to get people to pull on banners. Like I genuinely believe Bennett is here solely to get people to actually wish, because Bennett has been such a broken unit since the launch of the game, and he's like important in any team. If you want to make any character good or deal a lot of damage and they have mostly like attack scaling, you throw Bennett in the team and then the character does significantly more damage. Same with, you know, a lot of characters that snapshot. Bennett's buff. Bennett's just a really good character. Also is a pseudo pyro battery, and he's a healer, and he does these things very well. And so I feel like they threw Bennett in here to try to incentivize people to pull on these banners, but then they just, you know, they know that people are already kind of turning against Dehya here, and so they probably won't be pulling on her banner. And with Cyno's reception, though he's a super cool character, I also would imagine that Cyno's sales won't be super high. So I almost feel like this is like a throwaway banner for them, but then the Bennett's like a last ditch effort to like get a couple people to pull. Because if they release a new 5-star that's good and heavily anticipated, then like Bennett doesn't need to be on that banner for people to pull on it. So it's like almost like a balancing factor. You have like 3 characters that are like kind of all right, and then you have Bennett, and it balances the scales. Yeah, if you're looking at 4-star value, I genuinely don't believe this banner is worth pulling on for Bennett. This is like, it's too bad. Like your other options are too bad. Now, if they're characters you want C6 of, if you have like C6 of like most other characters and you don't have C6 of any of these, then like it's fantastic for you. But generally speaking, I think people are going to try to avoid these banners just because of the 5 stars on them and just because of the 4 stars. Once again, Cyno's not bad, but I do think that like he's kind of just a balanced okay unit, and people will basically be pulling for him if they like his like lore and stuff rather than if they like his damage or whatever. So I don't know. Disappointed with how they laid out the character banner this time. Yeah, I don't know how much more I need to say about that. But don't let that stop you from looking at the next banner, because this is pretty good. So Beacon of the Reed Sea and Staff of Scarlet Sands, and the 4 stars. Honestly, the 4 stars are pretty bad. You'll have Dragon's Bane, and Dragon's Bane is a good polearm, but the 4 stars in this banner are awful. But the 5 stars on it are really good. For those of you wondering, Staff of Scarlet Sands is a crit rate polearm, but it gives you attack based on your elemental mastery. When an elemental skill hits opponents, you gain 28% of your elemental mastery's bonus attack, and just by default, you get a portion of your elemental mastery's bonus attack. So basically, it's really rewarding for a lot of characters, like your Xiangling, your Cyno, obviously. Rosaria can use it as well. It's honestly just a pretty solid polearm, especially up to 44 crit rate is really, really good. And a lot of characters that you're going to play with polearms are going to have attack buffs in some way, shape, or form. So Staff of Scarlet Sands is like arguably one of the better weapons in the game. And then on top of that, you have Beacon of the Reed Sea, which is Dehya's exclusive weapon, except it works for more than just Dehya. It actually works for a lot of characters. After elemental skill hits an opponent, their attack will be increased by 20% for 8 seconds. After the character takes damage, their attack will be increased by 20% for 8 seconds. This also probably includes dental reactions, and they can be triggered when the character's not on the field. That's pretty standard. Additionally, when not protected by a shield, the character's max HP will be increased by 32%. So this is basically saying when Dehya doesn't have a shield on, she gets HP bonus, which is, pretty good. So my take on this is that it's a generally really good claymore. The thing is, there's not a lot of crit claymores that are accessible to free-to-play players, and this is also one of those ones that's not super accessible to free-to-play players, but it's a good claymore nonetheless. Some people avoided pulling on Red Horn because it has a low base attack, but it has really high crit damage. This is going to be one of your only options for crit rate claymore if you're not buying the battle pass, and it has 33% crit rate on it. It has the same base attack as Wolf's Gravestone, and it can get up to 40% attack at R1. It's honestly a really good claymore. D-Luke can take use of it. Razor could take use of it if you wanted to. I think someone calculated out that this is actually just slightly ahead of Pines on Eula, funny enough. So it's a really solid claymore, and I think something that a lot of people underrate is that just by the fact that it has crit rate on as a main stat, that already takes some load off of your artifacts for them to be like super good. For example, an issue I have with my D-Luke is that my crit ratio is bad because my Crimson Witch artifacts are bad, and I only have Wolf's Gravestone and Serpent Spine, but I don't want to play Serpent Spine on him because I'm using Serpent Spine on someone else usually. So that just means that I now have to have mediocre crit stats, or I could get Beacon of the Reed Sea, which would fix that. So anyways, that's my explanation. Both these weapons are really good. It's such a bummer that these 4 stars are so bad. The sword can be okay for Bennett as an attack stick, I guess, but I don't know. I don't really particularly feel like these banners are worth it at all, in my opinion. If you're just looking for a good weapon, these 2 5 stars can be pretty good options, but the weapon banners are a scam. These character banners honestly are kind of a scam too, so I don't know, man. I just want to be excited for Dehya, but it's so hard. It's so freaking hard. This is probably gonna be the most sleeper patch of Genshin Impact. Maybe not story-wise, but for other players, I hope that you guys have something on these banners that you want if you're pulling for these characters. For me, these just ain't it. So, be careful. If you don't have Bennett and you don't mind Dehya or Cyno, like if you want both of these characters, it's totally fine to go in on, but honestly, just the drawbacks of like getting rid of your guarantee or something like that, just wishing for Bennett is not really worth it. These, they might be good for your account. It just depends on what you're trying to run, but character banners ain't it. And in my opinion, the 4 stars on the weapon banner ain't it. So I don't really like the weapon banner, but the 2 5 stars are really good. That's basically it for my banner review. What do you guys think of the banners though? Are you guys going to be pulling on them? Who are you going to be pulling for? And let me know who you're excited for next patch or what you're excited for. I'll have a Dehya guide out right away when the patch launches and a first impression video. So if you're unsure or if you're on the fence about her or if you want to know her power level, check those videos out, subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.